Hi everyone, it's April 1st, 2010. I'm Dwight Schmuck. This is the Schmuck Look. And what I'm going to talk about today might sound like April Fool, but it's not. The first story concerns the country of Saudi Arabia, which is, they do have a justice system of sorts. It's based on Sharia law, Muslim law, religious law. And what I'm talking about here is this guy who, he hosted a very popular Lebanese satellite television show where he told fortunes and gave advice. Well, he went on a pilgrimage to this town, Medina, in Saudi Arabia, and the religious police have arrested him. He's in jail, and he faces beheading for the crime of, like I say, I know this sounds like April Fool's Day, but it's not, really. He is facing beheading, imminent beheading, for the crime of sorcery. Oh my goodness. In the 21st century, they're afraid of sorcerers who tell fortunes on satellite TV. Oh, yeah. And we're supposed to acknowledge these wise guys can rule the world? Do you realize this means, of course, Penn and Teller, Siegfried and Roy, all these guys would be beheaded because, magicians, sorcerers, things of the devil, they gotta be killed. And, of course, movies would be out if these guys become, head-high potentates over the world, as is their want and desire. Because, movies idolize certain people. They make idols out of them, and we just can't have that. And these are the same folks who, tore down all those lovely, lovely Buddha statues because it was an idol that people worshipped. Yeah. Hey, flat out, worship the way you want to. I don't really care. Not my business. Let me worship the way I want to. It's called freedom, fellas. And I'll tell everybody out there flat out, either freedom is something we all have and share, or only a very few, very powerful, very elite will have the freedom to decide what the rest of us suffer. And suffer is a key word, which brings me to my second point. These wonderful folks in Malaysia, for God's sakes, a Malaysian woman sentenced to be caned for the crime of drinking beer. Well, they've commuted her punishment. She's no longer going to be caned 6 times. They've given her a 3-week community service at a children's home in Pahang from tomorrow on. She was expecting a caning. She is surprised by this development as she will be separated from her children for 3 weeks. But we do respect the Sultan's decision. Do you think? She was arrested for, like I said, the crime of drinking beer in a beachfront hotel. If drinking the beer is a crime, is not selling the beer a crime? Oh, that's right. Everybody enjoys the tax money associated with foreigners, infidels, drinking the beer. Isn't it funny when a lot of money is involved? Well, it's not a sin for the big guy collecting it, but it's sure as hell a sin for the little guy doing it, particularly if it's a woman. Again, These are the fellas we're supposed to turn over world justice and world control to? Somehow, I don't think so. You know, yesterday I got an email, and I passed it on to my mailing list, really. It was about the Holocaust in World War II, and Eisenhower ordered, because he was the general in charge of the European theater, he ordered photograph and a load of photographic evidence. He ordered the people in the German villages around these concentration camps to be taken through and see what they ignored for a decade or so, to show them the horror that they closed their eyes to, that was happening right beside them, and the photographic evidence, because as he said, sometime in the future, some bastard's going to come along and claim this never happened. Well, yeah, that's been happening for quite some time, but now there has been a measure in merry old England to rewrite the history books, so to speak, that the Holocaust didn't happen because, well, the Muslim community is offended by the thought that it did happen, and they claim it didn't. Who knew that, well, he's dead, so you can't behead him. But Eisenhower, apparently, on top of being a general and a president, was a sorcerer. He told the future, and it has happened. But you know, you can't continually rewrite the past until somebody calls you a liar. Today, folks, anybody who says the Holocaust didn't happen, I'll be a schmuck. This is not an April Fool's joke. You're liars. It happened. Throughout history, people in control have eradicated those who were different, because as long as there's a target for everybody to look at and hate, well, you don't ask the guys on top to do too much for you then, do you? Other than protect you from the ones you're so scared of and the ones you hate so much. Really, what we need protected from, whether it's Muslim, Christian, what have you, what we really need protected from as people is the guys on top. I'm Dwight Schmuck. That's today's Schmuck Look. Peace, everyone.